Indeed. Ready, Jake? So you don't want me to start though, or no? Sure, I can hang. Brother, there's a first time for everything. All right, my man. It's 10:30. In 3, 2. It's 10:30. We're about to start. Hang with me. Fire at will. All right, all right, all right. All right, here we go again. It's 10:30 on a Sunday night. Hello, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells coming to you live and in living color from inside the fashionable newsroom at the powerful WKMG. It's 10:30 on a Sunday, and I'm working because we have Tropical Storm Ian that is intensifying pretty quickly. I can't really say officially it's intensifying rapidly. That means something. But I think it's going to end up being an intensification of development. I think it is going to rapidly intensify. And that will happen during the first part of the day tomorrow, if not overnight tonight. So here we go. Let me show you what's going on. You see the activity there. This is the 8 o'clock advisory. With the 8 o'clock intermittent advisory, intermediate advisory, you don't get a new track. We're waiting on a new track to come out at 11 o'clock. My guess is we're not going to be in love with the new track. It's going to peel closer to the Gulf Coast of Florida, which would mean greater impacts for all of Central Florida, most especially our western periphery of counties. That would be you, Marion County, most especially Alachua County, parts of Lake and Sumter counties as well. I'll get to why I believe that in just a moment. Let me go ahead and put this into motion, get this out of here. The pressure dropped to 991 millibars, down from 1,000 millibars at 5 o'clock to 991 at 8 o'clock. I really believe that pressure was out there at 5. They just couldn't find it. But then the hurricane hunters found it. Here's your track. 8 o'clock advisory, 5 p.m. track. See the way it rolled? It's going to go toward western Cuba as a Category 2 or 3 storm by tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. When you wake up Tuesday morning, it'll either be on the western periphery of Cuba or making its way right into the Gulf of Mexico. Inside there's nothing but warm water. I'll show it to you in just a moment. Let's go ahead and finish this out so you can see how the track ends up right along the Gulf Coast of Florida. Now, there they have it making landfall sometime midday Thursday to Thursday afternoon, and then by Friday is a tropical storm north of the state line going into parts of southeastern Georgia, and then probably out the East Coast back to the Atlantic or maybe up the Smoky Mountains. We'll see. That all remains to be seen. But here's the important part I want you to see is just how close this thing comes to the Gulf Coast. There's a zoomed in shot of what I just showed you. See how it really has that eye just off the coast of Tampa? I think at 11 o'clock tonight that jogs a little farther to the east. I'll show you why right now in a moment when we see the models. It's not a perfect scenario at all. The entire part of the News 6 viewing area, every single part, is under the cone of projected movement, so we're all at risk. Okay, when you look at this update here, and the European model kind of does that wicked hook over, they're all kind of starting to do that little weird bend. Normally you see that, and the models start following one another. It's kind of scary because that means it's probably going to happen. It senses that weakness in the ridge, comes over for a little bit before curving back north. They all curve to the east a little bit, falling in line with the euro. The TV con has changed a lot. That's this one right here. kind of a pinkish color or a salmon color on your monitor right there. Right beside the Euro is the one that looks really weird and whips all the way to the east of Tampa. And then the TV Con is right here. The ensemble model I like the best is that one right there. Kind of a peach color going up, barely touching the T of Tampa and going up west of Jacksonville. That's the TV Con Ensemble. It has also moved farther to the east. Keep in mind they're just models, but for now, I think the track is going to shift a little farther east too. And with each additional run, we'll start to have a better idea of what we think is going to happen. Now here's the deal, one of the deals anyway. There's nothing but potential heat in front of this system. Ian is now out there rolling into waters. They're in the upper 80s to maybe even 90. It's untapped water. Hasn't been blasted so far this hurricane season, so it's going to rock. This thing's going to build its intensity rapidly during the overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. Currently, these are the tropical alerts we already have up. We have a hurricane warning for western Cuba, tropical storm watch and warnings for parts of the Grand Caymans. So we have a tropical storm watch for Little Cayman. From Grand Cayman Island, we have a hurricane warning going on. This is going to go right up through there in the next 12 to 24 hours. Again, by Tuesday morning at 2 a.m., which is only 28 hours from now, this thing will be north of Grand Cayman going through Cuba. Here's your steering patterns and what's going on. Watch the tropical storm go up the backside of this flow here on its way to the north. We've modeled it right along the Gulf Coast. The GFS is starting to fall in line with the Euro, and so is the TV Con. So that large dip in the jet pulls in to the north, and it looks like now the hookup is going to put it right along the Gulf Coast. That will determine if it slides to the north or the east. The probability of 40-mile-per-hour wind starts to increase as we go through the day on Wednesday. Now, tomorrow's a good day. Tomorrow's a pretty decent day in Central Florida. Do your hurricane preps tomorrow. Then on Tuesday at 8 a.m., watch how the storm comes up right along the Gulf Coast. You see the intensity there beginning to ratchet up a bit at 8 a.m. So all of a sudden we have tropical storm force winds and maybe feeder bands rolling through here by Wednesday evening. So for now, here's the bottom line. The breakdown is it's getting better organized. We expect it to strengthen during the overnight, not take a break. Most of the time you think, well, the sun goes down. Doesn't affect it. No, does not affect it at all. What affects it is the temperature of the water beneath it, and that water is hot. And there is no shear coming into it now. We expect more impacts to be a little more specific on Monday. A lot of people say, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Here's the bottom line. Those models have been windshield wipering in the last 3 days. We now have a system that is blowing up. I'll go back to the satellite shot of this thing. On the first basic slide, try to explain what I mean. It's the first time that the western side or the western periphery has developed worth 15 cents. And so now, see it's blowing up there, all the big convection. That red you're seeing erupting right out of that tropical storm icon. That's the kind of thunderstorm activity we had well north. So it was disorganized. But tonight, the right-hand side has some convection going on a feeder band that's going to roll in. The western side is beginning to build up. It's starting to look like more of a true tropical system. Pressure's dropped to 991 millibars at 8 p.m. It's going to go even lower, I believe, at 11. And so for the first time, we have a pretty decent, well-defined center with more strength. We have drop zones that have gone through it today. So I think with the new information from the hurricane hunters and with a better defined system, we'll have a better idea of the track. So tonight is not really the tail of the tape. I think tomorrow and tomorrow night is the tail of the tape. Where it is Monday night by 11 o'clock approaching western Cuba will give us a better idea of the exact track of this system. We do a great job with the track. We don't do a great job with the strength, but the models all have it progged to become a 4. This thing could easily, with the hot water it's got in front of it and waiting on the shear to tone it down late, could easily be a strong Category 4. My fear is that it would approach a 5, somewhere in the open waters of the Gulf, and build up a big storm surge so that even when it starts to lose some of its wind field or its strength around the core, the big wind field, the width of the storm, and the surge of the storm would have been built by a 4 or a 5. And then as the wind suddenly collapses, it takes time for the width of the storm to diminish. It takes time for the water field to diminish too. So it could be a really ugly situation if this thing gets to a 4 or a weak 5. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. We've got a newscast coming up in about 22 minutes. News 6 at 11 is going to come on at like 11:07 or 11:08. We had football tonight, ran over about 6 or 7 minutes. So we will be on. I'll have a brand new track for you right at the top of the 11 o'clock newscast. Take care of yourselves and each other. Take care and get your preps done tomorrow. For real, though. Don't wait till Tuesday. You're going to be really busy Tuesday trying to tie everything down. Try to get it done tomorrow. I'll see you at 11 o'clock on News 6. We're going to do these throughout the duration. We'll be on Facebook. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on Clicko. You can find us anywhere. TikTok, check it out. We're there. All right. Peace. See you at 11.